Psychodynamic theories. Good day, everyone. I am Kyla Claire B. Esma from Section C1, and today I'll be discussing about the attachment theory by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth. So, what is attachment theory? Attachment theory is focused on the relationships and bonds between people, particularly long-term relationships including those between a parent and child and between romantic partners. So, how the attachment theory developed? British psychologist John Bowlby was the first attachment theorist, describing attachment as a lasting psychological connectedness between human beings. Bowlby was interested in understanding the separation anxiety and distress that children experience when separated from their primary caregivers. Some of the earliest behaviors theories suggested that attachment was simply a learned behavior. These theories proposed that attachment was merely the result of the feeding relationship between the child and the caregiver. Because the caregiver feeds the child and provides nourishment, the child becomes attached. What Bowlby observed is that even feedings did not diminish the anxiety experienced by children when they were separated from their primary caregivers. Instead, he found that attachment was characterized by clear behavioral and motivation patterns. When children are frightened, they will seek proximity from their primary caregiver in order to receive both comfort and care. So, to better understand attachment is an emotional bond with another person. Bowlby believed that the earliest bonds formed by children with their caregivers have a tremendous impact that continues throughout life. He suggested that attachment also serves to keep the infant close to the mother, thus improving the child's chances of survival. Bowlby viewed attachment as a product of evolutionary process, while the behavioral theories of attachment suggested that attachment was a learned process. Bowlby and others proposed that children are born with an innate drive to form attachment with caregivers. Throughout history, children who maintain proximity to an attachment figure were more likely to receive comfort and protection, and therefore more likely to survive to adulthood. Through the process of natural selection, a motivational system designed to regulate attachment emerged. So, what determines successful attachment? Behaviorists suggest that it was food that led to forming this attachment behavior, but Bowlby and others demonstrated that nurturance and responsiveness were the primary determinants of attachment. Ainsworth's strange situation. In her 1970s research, psychologist Mary Ainsworth expanded greatly upon Bowlby's original work. Her groundbreaking strange situation study revealed the profound effects of attachments on behavior. In this study, researchers observed children between the ages of 12 and 18 months as they responded to a situation in which they were briefly left alone and then reunited with their mothers. Based on the responses the researchers observed, Ainsworth described the three major styles of attachment, which is the secure attachment, ambivalent insecure attachment, and avoidant insecure attachment. Later, researchers Main and Solomon on 1986 added a fourth attachment style called disorganized insecure attachment based on their own research. A number of studies since that time have supported Ainsworth's attachment styles and have indicated that attachment styles also have an impact on behaviors later in life. Pre-attachment stage. From birth to 3 months, infants do not show any particular attachment to a specific caregiver. The infant signals, such as crying and fussing, naturally attract the attention of the caregiver, and the baby's positive responses encourage the caregiver to remain close. Indiscriminate attachment. Between 6 weeks of age to 7 months, infants begin to show preferences for primary and secondary caregivers. Infants develop trust that the caregiver will respond to their needs. While they still accept care from others, infants start distinguishing between familiar and unfamiliar people, responding more positively to the primary caregiver. Discriminate attachment. At this point, from about 7 to 11 months of age, infants show a strong attachment and preference for one specific individual. They will protest when separated from the primary attachment figure, or separation anxiety, and begin to display anxiety around strangers, or stranger anxiety. Multiple attachments. After approximately 9 months of age, children begin to form strong emotional bonds with other caregivers beyond the primary attachment figure. This often includes the father, older siblings, and grandparents. Factors that influence attachment. While this process may seem straightforward, there are some factors that can influence how and when attachments develop, including opportunity for attachment. Children who do not have a primary care figure, such as those raised in orphanage, may fail to develop the sense of trust needed to form an attachment. The second is the quality caregiving. When caregivers respond quickly and consistently, children learn that they can depend on the people who are responsible for their care, which is the essential foundation for attachment. Patterns of attachment. There are 4 patterns of attachment. First, the ambivalent attachment. These children become very distressed when a parent leaves. Ambivalent attachment style is considered uncommon. As a result of poor parental availability, these children cannot depend on their primary caregiver to be there when they need them. Avoidant attachment. Children with an avoidant attachment tend to avoid parents or caregivers, showing no preference between a caregiver and a complete stranger. This attachment style might be a result of abusive or neglectful caregivers. Children who are punished for relying on a caregiver will learn to avoid seeking help in the future. Disorganized attachment. These children display a confusing mix of behavior, seeming disoriented, dazed, or confused. They may avoid or resist the parent. Lack of a clear attachment pattern is likely linked to inconsistent caregiver behavior. In such cases, parents may serve as both a source of comfort and fear, leading to disorganized behavior. Secure attachment. Children who can depend on their caregivers show distress when separated and joy when reunited. Although the child may be upset, they feel assured that the caregiver will return. When frightened, securely attached children are comfortable seeking reassurance from caregivers. The lasting impact of early attachment. Research suggests that failure to form secure attachments early in life can have a negative impact on behavior in later childhood and throughout life. Children diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder or ODD, conduct disorder or CD, or post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD frequently display attachment problems, possibly due to early abuse, neglect, or trauma. Clinicians suggest that children adopted after the age of 6 months have a higher risk of attachment problems. While attachment styles displayed in adulthood are not necessarily the same as those seen in infancy, early attachments can have a serious impact on later relationships. Those who are securely attached in childhood tend to have a good self-esteem, strong romantic relationships, and the ability to self-disclose to others. Children who are securely attached as infants tend to develop stronger self-esteem and better self-reliance as they grow older. These children also tend to be more independent, perform better in school, have successful social relationships, and experience less depression and anxiety. And that would be all. Thank you for listening.